All right, so today we're diving into this mountain of info you brought about weather forecasting, and
It's quite the stack.
it is, I gotta admit, I always thought it was like you just look at a map and make a guess,
Lot?
educated guess. But after skimming these RoleCatcher guides, I'm thinking it's a lot more than meets the eye.
Oh, yeah. Way more than an educated guess.
So first things first, what does a weather forecaster even do all day?
Well, forget that picture of somebody just like pointing at a map on TV.
Right.
These folks are practically data scientists.
Hmm.
The RoleCatcher guide makes a big deal about how much of the job is collecting and analyzing data from, like, everywhere.
Mhm.
We're talking satellites, radar, even like old school weather balloons.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
They gather all this info on temperature, humidity, wind speed, atmospheric pressure, like the whole shebang.
It's like they're putting together this giant puzzle, but all the pieces are always moving. No wonder forecasts aren't always on the mark.
Exactly.
Speaking of which, how does all this like high-tech stuff factor in? I mean, I'm sure it's come a long way from those old weather maps we used to see.
Oh, absolutely. Technology, especially computer modeling and AI, that's really shaking things up in the field.
Hmm.
Remember all that data we talked about? Well, AI can sift through it super fast, spotting patterns and making connections that humans might miss.
So it's like this super-powered brain making sense of the chaos.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it means forecasts are getting more accurate, even tailored to specific areas.
Wow, so it's like hyper-local weather reports, but even more fine-tuned. That's pretty wild. So with all this advanced tech, you'd think being a weather forecaster would be a breeze. But I'm guessing it's not all sunshine and rainbows.
Well, not quite. RoleCatcher actually breaks down the career path for a weather forecaster, and it's definitely not as simple as it sounds.
Okay, so let's say you're an aspiring weather forecaster, fresh out of school, eager to make your mark.
Mm.
What's the first step on your meteorological ladder to success?
Well, according to the guide, you'd probably start as like an entry-level forecaster.
Okay.
Think of it as meteorological boot camp.
Boot camp. Sounds intense. What does that involve?
You're doing a ton of hands-on work, gathering and analyzing data, figuring out how to use all the fancy tools, and most importantly, assisting the senior forecasters.
So it's a lot like an apprenticeship,
Yeah,
learning the tricks of the trade from the masters themselves.
exactly.
Okay, so once you've got the basics down, what's next on this weather forecasting journey?
That's when things get really interesting. As you level up to a junior forecaster, you get more independence. You're analyzing data on your own, developing your own forecasts for specific regions or time periods, and even presenting those forecasts for feedback.
So you're not just fetching coffee anymore, you're in the trenches making actual predictions. I bet that comes with a whole other level of responsibility.
Right, yeah, a whole other level.
Right. It suddenly hits you that there's a real person on the other end of that forecast.
Right,
Maybe deciding whether to pack an umbrella or cancel a picnic based on what you said.
exactly. And that's actually why the RoleCatcher guide emphasizes communication skills as much as the science part.
Yeah, you could have the most spot-on forecast in the world,
Right.
but if you can't explain it clearly, what's the point?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not just about explaining it to like the average Joe either. At the mid-level, you might be presenting to news channels or like briefing emergency teams or even consulting with industries that are affected by weather. Agriculture, transportation, you name it.
Wow, so you're not just a scientist, you're a translator,
How
a
about it?
strategist,
Right.
a communicator. That's a lot of hats to wear.
It is. It really is.
Yeah.
Remember those example profiles that RoleCatcher included for each stage?
Oh, yeah, those were really helpful. They
Yeah.
really brought things to life.
Right. And for the mid-level forecaster, one even talked about presenting on live TV.
Live TV, talk about pressure. Millions of people watching, hanging on your every word. All of a sudden, I'm having flashbacks to my high school drama class.
Yeah, I can see why.
Yeah.
The pressure is definitely real in this field. The guide actually says working under pressure is one of the most important skills you need.
Right.
When severe weather hits, you got to stay calm. Then clearly make those accurate calls that could actually save lives.
It's like you need the scientific mind and the communication skills, but also the composure of a Zen master
Right.
to handle all that data.
Exactly. If you can handle all that, though, and you're passionate about meteorology, it can be really rewarding.
Well, let's talk rewards. RoleCatcher mentioned some pretty compelling pros and cons, like job security seems like a major plus.
Oh, absolutely. People are always going to need the weather, right?
Yeah,
And especially with climate change making things more extreme and unpredictable, that need's only going to grow.
that's true. Accurate forecasts are more vital than ever to
Right.
prepare for and deal with those severe weather events.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And on top of job security, there's the potential to earn a really good salary. especially as you gain experience and climb the ladder.
Okay, so job security, good salary. Those are some strong arguments in favor of this career path. But there have to be some downsides. Even the best jobs have their challenges. What did RoleCatcher highlight as potential drawbacks?
Well, there are definitely some trade-offs.
Okay, so spill the tea. What are the not-so-glamorous parts of being a weather forecaster?
Well, one of the biggies, according to RoleCatcher, is you might end up working some crazy hours.
Right, because Mother Nature doesn't stick to a 9 to 5 schedule.
Exactly. You could be working evenings, weekends, holidays, you name it, whenever those storm clouds roll in. And let's be real, that can take a toll on your personal life. Missing family stuff or friend time because a hurricane decided to show up. That's got to be rough.
Definitely takes a certain kind of dedication, but I imagine it's also super rewarding, knowing your work has such a direct impact on people's lives.
Oh, totally. I mean, think about it. You're helping people get ready for those severe events,
Right.
keeping everyone safe, maybe even saving lives.
Yeah,
That's got to feel incredible.
for sure puts things in perspective. The next time I'm glued to my weather app, freaking out about the forecast before a trip, I'll be sure to thank my lucky stars for the amazing forecasters out there.
Right.
Hard at work.
Here, here. And speaking of the future, it makes you wonder what's next for weather forecasting. I mean, we've seen how tech's already changing the game.
Mm.
But with climate change making things even more wild and unpredictable, who knows what challenges and opportunities are on the horizon?
It's like a whole new world for meteorology. So if you're into science and tech and making a real difference, well, this deep dive might have just sparked a career path you never expected.
Maybe so.
Yeah.
And on that note, I think we've reached the end of our meteorological journey for today.
It's been an eye-opening adventure for sure. Who knew weather forecasting could be so fascinating? Definitely more than meets the eye. So next time you're checking the forecast, remember all the amazing work that goes on behind the scenes, the data, the communication, the ability to stay calm under pressure. It takes a special kind of person, and honestly, I have a whole new level of respect for them.
Couldn't agree more.
And there you have it, folks. Another deep dive, another layer of knowledge unlocked. Stay curious out there, and we'll catch you on the next episode.